Well, in Virginia, the Democrat is the winner, so that means the health care law is not a loser.
If Republicans think they can just get on this Obamacare kick and win in 2014 on that, I think they're mistaken.
Well, Ron Paul says, no, they're not mistaken, and not so fast. The former congressman, presidential candidate, joining me right now. So, Congressman, you think that a lot of what was going on in voters' minds yesterday had a lot to do with frustration in health care, right?
Well, I think so. You know, a couple weeks ago, Ken was way behind and nearly caught up, so I would say it was still an issue. But I think government workers was a bigger issue. I think it was sort of like throwing in D.C. People into the race because of Northern Virginia. So that's a completely different story.
Do you think if we didn't have that government shutdown, Congressman, that he might have pulled this out?
Yeah, I think so. Well, I don't think that's the deciding factor, but I think in Northern Virginia it played a role into it. But I don't think that makes it right or wrong. I think all this race did was prove Hayek's point that the worst rise to the top. And I think this is the case of what happens so often. The people who can be the most negative and appeal to the lowest common denominator. And I think this is the reason some people can win. And McAuliffe had a lot of money. He had corporation money. This whole story, you know, that the rich always support the Republicans and the conservatives. Well, I think this proves the point that you know, the Democrats, like many Republicans, are in bed with big corporations. In this case, you know, McAuliffe raised, what, $30-something million, twice as much as Cuccinelli. So money talks, big corporations talks, and military talks because of the military-industrial complex in Northern Virginia. So you have to be realistic. I think, if anything, you should say that Obamacare is going to decide itself with the American people, because they're not happy now, they're not happy with the website, and they're not going to be happy with the medical care. So if somebody wants to say, oh yeah, this is a victory, Obamacare is actually better than a lot of people were saying, they'll be kidding themselves.
You know, Chris Christie racked up a big re-election as governor of New Jersey, and he more or less was saying, as if sort of telegraphing a 2016 presidential run, that follow me. I found a way. I found a way of coalescing all of these groups together. I'm your guy. What do you think?
Well, if he wants to go by the way of McCain and Romney, I guess he can go ahead and do it. Maybe he can become the nominee. But I think it'll be same old stuff again, wishy-washy stuff. Chase all the constitutionalists, limited government, libertarians, chase them home. Why vote? You know, so if that's what he wants to do, I mean, I don't think New Jersey is a litmus test for the United States of America.
Well, I think what he's saying, Congressman, is that he is a Republican in the bluest of states that manages to rack up huge coalitions and reach out to groups that typically would not vote Republican. You're not impressed?
No, I'm not. I don't think that means that we all have to be like New Jersey. Matter of fact,
careful. I live in New Jersey. You go slowly there.
Well, you also admire Texas, too, you know.
Well, okay. So, what do you think of how nasty it's getting, though, Congressman? Your son, of course, Rand Paul, the senator, everyone's been, you know, chasing him like, you know what, that he's a plagiarist and all. And it's starting early, it seems to me. What do you say to him when you talk to him about the broadsides he's getting?
Well, I don't get into this advice business, but the fact that there are more attacks now means he's doing pretty well. That's usually what happens. They'd like to ignore you if they can, but they can't. When they start attacking you, you know you're having an effect. So I think that's a good sign.
You're not concerned when the Washington Post dumps him as a column, you know, to help out? What do you think of that?
Well, I hardly think the Washington Post has much to do with public opinion across this country. I mean, sometimes that's a negative. If they start praising you, then you better watch out. So, no, sentiments are built in a different way now. It's built on the internet and rurally and regionally. So I don't think the Wall Street Journal, no, I don't think the Washington Post has much to say about establishing opinion. Maybe in the Washington, D.C. area, maybe in Northern Virginia, you know, maybe that's what they did. But you know, if they love big government. But no, I think you know, just getting somebody in the mushy middle, advocating big government and not really challenging things on principle, and saying, well, if we concede a whole lot to the Democrats, we're going to be victorious and the country will survive. I don't buy it.
Okay, I'm going to put you down as a maybe then on Chris Christie.